The card ID verification page lets you set rules to reject transactions based on the response sent back by a customer's bank. So there aren't a ton of rules here, but you can choose on a per processor basis. You'll see all credit card processors in this dropdown. If you only have one, you'll just see the one. You can choose what processor, whether you want to make the rules for US domestic transactions or non-US international. You have some rules here, which we'll go over in a second, and then you can show history. So I can go through and see what changes have been made to the settings on this page. Now there's only 4 rules because when a CVV is provided, there's only so many things that can be responded. So if you read this, you can say reject a US transaction if the CVV does not match. So that's just the bank saying the CVV that you provided for this transaction is not what we expect to be on the card. You can reject. And the second most common is the CVV is not processed or CVV was not provided. So this is basically requiring that the CVV is confirmed to be part of the transaction, and the bank responded just with a response at all. So you can check that. And this is essentially going to make sure that a CVV is in every transaction, and this first rule is going to make sure that it's correct. The other 2 rules down here are much less common. This should be on the card but is not indicated. So basically the bank says the CVV should be there, but it was not provided in the transaction. And this one is an issuer is not certified or has not provided encryption key. Most likely these first 2 are going to cover all cases. And essentially if I check both of these, it's going to make any credit card transaction processed on this credit card processor to have a CVV and for it to be correct. So I can go ahead and save. And there we go. All transactions that are e-commerce or Moto will have to have a CVV that matches and is part of the transaction. I can set different rules for international, and I can set different rules for other processors.